A 2015 paper indirectly linked in an article published in January 2020 held proof that Fauci's organization had funded gain-of-function research in China during a mandated moratorium. This revelation sparked a series of events as Fauci-led scientists sought to promote the natural origins theory as a means to hide their complicity in gain-of-function experiments that had been done at the Wuhan lab. Despite later claims from teleconference members that they had simply changed their minds, evidence shows that a draft promoting natural origins was completed on the same day that the authors were telling Fauci that they were 80% sure the virus came out of a lab. Fauci's lies would continue throughout the year and beyond. Hi everyone, and welcome to Truth Over News with Jeff Carlson and Hans Manka.
The February 1st, 2020 Fauci teleconference was hastily convened by Fauci and British Pharmaceutical Trust Director Jeremy Farrar in response to public reporting of a potential connection between Fauci's funding of the experiments at the Wuhan Institute of Virology and the COVID outbreak. That public reporting was a January 31st, 2020 article in the journal Science that was promoting the natural origins theory. The article, which attempted to differentiate between the COVID virus and the RATG13 virus held by the Wuhan Institute of Virology, likely included input from scientists already affiliated with Fauci. Two such scientists, Christian Anderson and Edward Holmes, were cited in the article. The article took pains to differentiate between the two viruses, noting that RATG13 differs from COVID-19 by nearly 1,100 nucleotides, and noting that analysis showed that the two viruses shared a common ancestor 25 to 65 years ago. The article focused on the theory that the virus originated in a Wuhan seafood market, and the author made sure to discount the lab leak theory, noting that the viral sequences knocked down the idea the pathogen came from a virology institute in Wuhan. But there was one significant problem. Deep in the article, the author noted that Nature had run an article in 2017 about the opening of the new Biolevel 4 lab at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. That article included criticisms from Rutgers University biology professor Richard Ebright. Additionally, the article included links to a 2015 article in The Scientist that highlighted previous criticisms by Ebright of gain-of-function experiments done by Ralph Barrick and Shizheng Li, the director of the Wuhan lab.
Notably, the article did not link directly to Barrick's 2015 paper that detailed his gain-of-function experiments, but the article provided a pathway for those interested enough to find it. In addition to the paper's admission that gain-of-function experiments were being conducted at the Wuhan lab, the acknowledgments in the paper discussed the means of funding and the permissions that were granted for the gain-of-function research. Barrick and Shi's 2015 paper stated that their studies were initiated before Obama's moratorium in gain-of-function experiments was enacted, but also noted that continuation of these studies was requested and had been approved by NIH. The research paper also noted that their experiments were supported by grants from Fauci's NIAID. Additional funding was provided by the U.S. Department of Defense through a grant made to Peter Daszak's EcoHealth Alliance, who in turn gave that money to Shi's lab. The research paper by Barrick and Shi stated that their experiments had since been reviewed and approved for continued study by the NIH. Fauci is the director of NIAID, which in turn is a component of its parent organization, NIH. It was his organization that approved and provided funding for Barrick and Shi's gain-of-function experiments after the gain-of-function moratorium was put into place.
It was the pathway to this 2015 research paper that set off Fauci's February 1st, 2020 secret teleconference and began their group's promotion of the natural origins narrative. Peter Daszak, the person through whom Fauci was funding the Wuhan lab, was acutely aware of the problems that may have been coming Fauci's way. On January 27, 2020, before public reporting of the potential connection between Fauci and the Wuhan lab, Daszak emailed a NIAID colleague of Fauci's to provide talking points for Fauci in case he was asked by the media about the issue. It is not clear if and when Fauci received Daszak's warning. What is known is that upon receiving the January 31st, 2020 Science article, Fauci immediately began emailing it to various associates. On the morning of February 1st, 2020, Fauci sent Hugh Auchincloss, NIAID's principal deputy director, the 2015 research paper detailing the gain-of-function work done by Barrick and Xi, that also detailed the funding and approvals by Fauci's NIAID. Fauci included a strongly worded message to Auchincloss saying, "It is essential that we speak this AM. Keep your cell phone on." Fauci directed Auchincloss to read this paper as well as the email that I will forward to you now. You will have tasks today that must be done, he wrote. Again, this 2015 research paper was only indirectly referenced in the January 31st, 2020 paper, but it had Fauci's full attention. The teleconference that would establish the natural origins narrative took place later that same day. During this teleconference, Christian Anderson told Fauci's group that he was 60 to 70% sure the virus came from a laboratory. Edward Holmes told the teleconference that he was 80% sure the virus came out of a lab.
Of particular note is that while these scientists were expressing their concerns that the pandemic originated from a virus that leaked from a lab, these same scientists were actively drafting an article that stated the virus had natural origins. The first draft of this article was completed on the same day as Fauci's teleconference. The finalized version of the article, Proximal Origin, would first be published online on February 16, 2020. This point that Anderson and Holmes were actively drafting their Proximal Origin article on the very same day that they were telling Fauci and his teleconference group that they believed the virus had come from a lab cannot be emphasized enough.